Hello again. We're doing another tier list. It's been a few days. I was hoping to do one directly, maybe the day after the Randy Newman one, but you know how it is. You're working and you're busy, but we're back. It's been a few days. We're gonna do a weird one today. I mean, if Randy Newman wasn't niche enough for you, Daniel Johnston's first album, Hi, How Are You? Very niche. And then, I don't know, if you found your way to this video off the back, I'm just going to have a bit of my coffee. It's 8 o'clock at night, I'm having a bit of coffee. If you found yourself on this video off the back of maybe the Abbey Road one or the Beach Boys one, might be worth going to listen to Daniel Johnston's Hi, How Are You before we proceed, because you're not going to understand any of this. And it's a very, very weird album, so you kind of need to know what's going on with it. If you're here because you know who Daniel Johnston is and you're trying to find a bit more Daniel Johnston media to enjoy, then yeah, you might like what's going on here. You might agree with some of my movements on this. You might disagree, and as I say, you can always tell me what you think down below, and we can discuss it. No one has yet. You could be the first. You could be the first to do it. But yeah, I mean, let's jump into this. I've been watching. I've been watching some YouTubers slam the Star Wars trilogy, which is always fun. I mean, I feel like I get off point so quickly, but I feel like I've got more joy out of how terrible the sequel trilogy is. I've got joy out of watching YouTubers slam it and give it bad reviews than I would have gotten joy out of there being an actually good a series of 3 films off the back of the other 6, but who knows? I mean, I just wish it wasn't such a train wreck. Train wreck. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster it's been. But okay, a little bit of background on Daniel Johnston. So we have got the wiki up here. We've got the track list as well that I can jump back to if I need to. I'll be opening chords on this. I was going to play Walking the Cow, but I've not wanting to do that anymore, I don't think. The reason why I don't want to besmirch the song, because the song is great. And, people have, there's hundreds of covers of it. I don't need to do another one. Although I will be playing Hey Joe. I feel like I'll give that a go. And Running Water I might do a little bit of, because that's quite a nice little song as well. But just a little bit of background with Daniel Johnston. So, as we all know, the viewers here who know who Daniel Johnston is, you know what a fragile case some of his albums can be, and this is probably the most fragile of them all. I think he was having a bit of a nervous breakdown, I read, when he was doing this. But for the people who don't know Daniel Johnston and are kind of new to him, he's a very unique person. He's sort of considered one of maybe the founders, or at the forefront maybe. Founders makes it sound unusual, but at the forefront of maybe the lo-fi movement in music, the outsider music, something that's just out of the box completely, different from mainstream, very much not mainstream. And I don't know, up to this point, I think he'd done 3 or 4 albums, and this is why I have this up, so I can actually see his discography. So up to this point, he'd actually done 5 albums. And on these albums, there are some really well put together songs. He's shown already, even though that he can come across a bit manic and a bit off and not in time, that he can put together well constructed songs. You get to this album, and it's more like a sound collage of sorts. Maybe it's just like some of them are full songs, some of them are just spoken word, some of them are just sound bites, some of them are just nonsense. Audio that's nonsense. Some of them he's taken instrumentals by other people and just done lyrics over it, which is not unusual, but I don't know, it's just strange. This whole album's very strange, but there's a lot of good in it as well, a lot of good stuff. But yeah, Daniel Johnston suffers from a load of mental ailments, stuff like I was just trying to listen off my head. Bipolar disorder, depression, delusions of grandeur. I imagine schizophrenia, but I don't know whether that's actually something that he suffers from. But yeah, Daniel Johnston's really a complicated brain, complicated person. And what I like about him, why I'm so interested in him, people go, you're a weirdo for liking this music. But I like it because it's so unique, and it's so different. And you will never hear anything like Daniel Johnston anywhere else. And he is a creative force, and you can say that maybe half the stuff he's ever done is a bit dubious and a bit off and a bit weird, but then the other half is spectacular. So it's really, really unusual things to try and tier list, and with this album in particular, this is why I kind of wanted to do this one. My initial thought was to do Songs of Pain, but I thought, no, like, I want to do something almost kind of like I did with the Abbey Road, where it's an album of two halves. This is an album of, not two halves, but two different sides, surely, is a way to say it. But we'll crack on anyway, we'll crack ahead. So this album was recorded, I think he was living now at his brother's, no, he'd been kicked out of his brother's, he was living at his sister's, like, basement. And he just had like this basement with a mattress and all his instruments or whatever, and he was just being a crazy, crazy guy in there and making all these songs. And the first song we're going to do, Poor You. Poor You, Poor You. Which one's that? It's this Poor You meme. Put it there for now, but let's get the the lyrics up for Poor You. I think it'll come up with Daniel Johnston straight away. It does, yeah. And this is a weird one, isn't it? This is the spoken word we were talking about before. There's a little bit of spoken word. Well, it is all spoken word, this one. And it starts great. Every morning he got up, dreading each moment he had to be awake. He'd look at the floor, scribble on gum wrappers. He never found a better way to joke around. You're going, right, okay, this is weird. What's going on here? But it is. It's kind of like he's sat there, and rather than... I don't even think that he's written it down. This is what I mean by Johnston being so out there. I don't think he's written this down on a piece of paper. I think he's just pressed record and gone, right, I'm just going to speak about an angel that comes to me every night. Because I think this is what the song is about. It's, that late at night he had a mistress in his dreams in his sleep, and she would say, poor you, poor you. And he lays on her lap and he sort of spends time with her. Delusions of grandeur or whatnot, but it's certainly striking as a piece of audio. I don't know whether it just scares me and that's why I want to put it so low, but it almost frightens me, this one, because it's really just scary. I don't think I can put it in banger. Now, again, like I always do, I've kind of messed around with this. I messed around with this the other day, and There are a lot of slaps and bangs, so I don't feel too bad about putting it in filler. But as an opening track, I would have loved to hear maybe Desperate Man Blues as the opening track, because it's so like raw. I was going to say raucous, but I don't think that's the raucous. No, I don't know. How do you pronounce raucous? Let's have a look. Just strange words come to my head, like raucous. Can I? I don't think I can hear it. No. Learn to pronounce. Harsh, strident. Strident. That's a good word. The sound of a loud and harsh grating. Okay, it's not a good word. We definitely use strident in this tier list for sure. But let's crack on. Poor You. As an opener, I don't want a spoken word as my opener. I can see why it works on this album, but for me, it's a filler track. But I like the idea that it's about, this kind of lonely guy who's struggling through life, and he's kind of at night. He's got this angel that looks after him, and she sort of agrees with him or makes him feel better about it. It's a good idea. I just don't like it. It's spoken word. That's the problem. But moving on. We'll move on. It's a good song. It's a good song. It's not even a song. That's the thing. It's not even a song. Big Business Monkey. Big Business Monkey. That's my version I'm singing. Big Business Monkey. Slaps, obviously. It's so good, isn't it? Big Business Monkey. That's such a good hook for a start. Big Business Monkey is the line. But yeah, the instrumental's cool. So you've got like the... I don't know what. It's kind of an organ, like a drawer organ or something. Big Business Monkey, and he's proper screaming it like weirdly. It's cool, but it is smart. I love the idea of the lyrics. Really, I don't even feel like I need to get the lyrics up, but I may as well. You can look at them. Big Business Monkey, boom, 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 boom. Nothing's funny. Bum, 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 bum. Big Business Monkey. Everything's money. He sold cheeseburgers with that cashier smile. He runs his house like a Burger King manager. Just proper weird lyrics, aren't they? But they're good. And you get the idea from it. Like, Daniel Johnston's never going to be a working stiff. I don't think he wants to work under people that don't that treat people badly. And it's, you know, there's a theme of bullying throughout this album, which is something that Johnston probably would have had to deal with when he was younger. Well, he's only 22 when he does this album, by the way. He's dealing with bullying for most of his life, probably, for the way he is and the way he acts. And it's just him lashing out at it and saying no. You know, I love this line, and the only jokes he knows are the ones that will put you down. So that's such a good line. Like, the only jokes he knows are the ones that will put you down. And it's like, yeah, I think we've all known someone like that. I've worked under people before who just don't have anything nice to say. And they just and they'll just put you down at any opportunity. I don't know whether that's like some sort of management thing. I have heard that when you become sort of a middle or higher up management, that you are advised to talk to people a certain way, and it's so that they will do these things for you, because you kind of just, when you're in management, you need to. Not that I know. I mean, I'm in like middle management, but I don't talk to people like shit, and I've not been given this advice. But I've heard that, you know, in order to get things done, you do have to be kind of harsh with people and kind of not care about what they think. And I guess this is Daniel Johnston's, you know, just lashing against it and going, no, I deserve to be spoken to in the way that you'd speak to anyone else that, you know, on your level. I'm not beneath you. And he follows that up with, he'll take over the world and you can have it now, but you can't take it with you, and everything you cling to will rot, and everything you do will be forgot by everyone that you ever tried to impress. And I think that is, as a poem, would be great. But it's such a good line. I like the way at the end as well. By everyone that you ever tried to impress. Like, he holds off on it to be like, I've got something to tell you, and I'm going to tell you as slow as I want to, you know. But I love listening to this song and thinking he's got this manager like wrapped around his finger now. He's proper telling him off, and I love it. And as I said, the hook is good. Business monkey. It's really easy and good, you know. And this is why Daniel Johnston's, it's just that funny creative side of him that's like, he could have just called him Big Business Boss, or like, you know, the nasty manager or something, but he comes up with something, you know, creative and silly. Big business monkey. He's calling him a big business monkey. Everything you cling to will rot. Everything you do will be forgot. You know, it's not only lashing out, but he's really telling him, like, you do know that you're going to die one day, and all the people you've treated badly are going to, you know, cheer about it or literally not care, because they won't be, you won't be in their thoughts. And everyone that you tried to impress with your behaviour isn't going to care either. So, you know, be nice. And it's nice. It's a good song. I love that song. Big Business Monkey slaps. Slaps hard. And I will link down in the description. It would be silly of me to not do this tier list and mention that I did my own Daniel Johnston cover album. And I will link the 2 songs that are on this album in the description. So what I did with mine, I just took a collection of songs from his early albums, of which there's like 10 or 11, and I thought I'll just do the early material. And there's 2 songs on this. There's Big Business Monkey and Despair Came Knocking that I do from this album. There were 1 or 2 that I was going to do, but they didn't seem right on my album. But I'll link it down below. If you want to listen to my Big Business Monkey, you absolutely can, because mine's a little bit more, it's maybe refined and sounds more accessible. I'm not saying it is more accessible. I'm saying I've got a metronome for a start I used. So it's in time. The melodies and the flow of it is a little bit more digestible, is the word I'd say. Accessible as well. But yeah, go ahead and listen to mine. You might like it. Daniel Johnston, I'm not saying it's better than Daniel Johnston. Daniel Johnston's one is awesome. But mine's kind of fun, I think. Worth a listen. Next one. I'm shooting through these, aren't I? I suppose, I don't know, I've had that coffee. I'm really excitable now. Walking the Cow. Walking the Cow's the one, isn't it? On this album. It has to go at the top. It's the most recognisable song. And I think it's really good. The metaphor for it is really good, isn't it? That's why people like it. And again, it's got I think it's a draw organ again in this song. It's some sort of organ, I can't remember. But it's just static piano, which it's kind of like Daniel Johnston's thing on some of the albums, where he just does his static piano and he lets his voice carry the song, or his his themes and his ideas coming out of his mouth. But Walking the Cow is great as a metaphor. I think it was inspired by some rapper or something like that on a sweet or on like a carton milk or something like that. But he turned it into this metaphor about, maybe I think it's supposed to be, the weight of the world or obstacles that he's trying to get through, and that walking a cow that is adamant that it's not going to move can prove quite challenging and almost impossible. So, he's trying to say the way I feel is impossible to escape in a way. I really don't know why I came here. I'm really not going to do too many actual impressions of Daniel Johnston because they might come off as offensive. He does have a very unique voice. He has a bit of a lisp as far as I remember, and he's got a very crazy falsetto when he goes for it, very crazy sounding falsetto. But Walking the Cow is great, it's the, sort of the most recognisable on the song. Everyone knows it. I mean, if we go on YouTube now and look at how many views Walking the Cow has got. I always do that. If we go on YouTube and look at Walking the Cow. Try and ignore all my nonsense on YouTube here. I watch some absolute shit. So we got nearly 1 million views on Walking the Cow. And you put that against maybe Big Business Monkey. You know, 120,000 stuff. It's still a lot. It's a lot of bloody views. Oh, look, and there's mine. I actually didn't mean to do that. I was completely by accident. But yeah, if you want to find it, there it is. 402 views. I'm catching up to that 129k. Oh, that's great though. That's great that if you put Big Business Monthly into YouTube, that my version comes up third. I think that's pretty cool. Quite happy with that. Yeah, it's really recognisable, and it is a really nice song. And you've got the instrumentals good. I won't be speaking too much about instrumentals in this because first of all there aren't that many, but second of all it's only ever really one or two instruments. But he's got like the din 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 din, and it's just really good. I mean, he's showing that he can actually play the piano. I've heard people say that he can barely play the piano. He knows how to play the piano. I just think he. I don't know whether he chooses or he just gets carried away. Like he's got a flow state that he gets into that makes him worse at piano. But he knows what he's doing, and the solo in this is really good. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He can play the instrument really well, but sometimes I think he just gets carried away with what he's singing, and he confuses himself. But Walking the Cow is great. Everyone knows it. There's no need for me to harp on about it because if you're here knowing who Daniel Johnston is, you're gonna know what Walking the Cow is. That's the first song you're probably ever gonna hear. But yeah, it's a great song, isn't it? I'm trying to read my writing here, and it looks like I've written arseholes. I just know I haven't written arseholes. Obstacles, that says. Oh my goodness. I've written. I need to get my head in the game here. I've written percussion again. I've written the word percussion, and I think what I meant by that was that on this album, it's just him. The percussion, I assume, from what I can hear of it and what it sounds like, is him hitting sides and kicking boxes and stuff like boxes of books under the desk and stuff. But it works. It still gives it that like sort of lo-fi made in the basement sound, which is what this album's got going for it. So I like it. I like Walking the Cow, and it is. I'd put Big Business Monkey higher just because I personally prefer that song. But you can't knock Walking the Cow off the top. That's the song. It's not only the song off this album that everyone knows. It's a song of Daniel Johnston's that everyone's going to hear if they ever find Daniel Johnston. Okay, we're on to I Picture Myself with Guitar. This one's filler, isn't it? Might even be trash. Oh, I don't know. I'll put it in filler first. I don't know. It's got a nice melody, hasn't it? I picture myself. Wait, no. How's it go? I see your face. I picture myself with a guitar. I see your face. I picture myself with the guitar. And that's it, I think. And it's just him strumming one or two chords. It's trash, isn't it? It's not good enough. It's not good enough for Daniel Johnston. At least Poor You is kind of like a story that he's telling. And it's going somewhere and it's got an end and a middle and a start. Whereas this is kind of just... He's just saying... I don't even know what he's saying. I see your face, I picture myself with a guitar. I think those are the only lines in it. I picture myself with a guitar. And at least, like, he's playing the guitar on it, and it's the first song on the album that he's playing guitar on, so it thematically works within itself. But I just don't think it holds any weight against the rest. And I think that's fair. I think that's probably going to be the only trash. Oh, no, there's certainly, I'm looking down my list, there's certainly some more trash. Despair Came Knocking. Despair Came Knocking. Which picture's that? Oh, it's the door. Despair Came Knocking is a banger. Why? Okay, it's a banger because in of itself, this is the one that I was really getting torn up about before. Is that, like, as a piece of audio, upon itself, it's kind of themed really well. That, like, the song is about despair, depression, and I think he's feeling trapped, isn't he? If we get the lyrics up again, Despair Came Knocking. Full lyrics. Despair came knocking at my door and I let her in for a while. She sat on the couch, smoking. She said nothing. Suddenly I felt tired. I began to feel tired. And all of a sudden the room seemed dizzy and dirty. Despair came knocking, I let her in for a while. Now, the way he sings it, well, he doesn't really sing it, he kind of like talks it, but then you've got this weird instrumental that's like, I can't even remember it now. I'm thinking of my version. This is the other song that I do a version of. And mine's really cool. Mine's maybe too much of a step away from this. It's very instrumentally heavy, and has like this massive solo. It was maybe a bit probably grooving my ego a bit too much with that solo, but I thought it worked, and I still do think it works. I think it's great. But again, link down below for that one. Go listen to it. But I'm trying to think of how this one goes now. I might have to step away for a second and listen to it. It's just one. I'm gonna step away and listen to it. Okay, I listened to it for 2 seconds. It's like down 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 down. Despair came knocking at my door, and I let her in for a while. But what I was trying to say was that upon itself, you can hear the despair in his voice. You can hear the laziness in the instrumental. And it just feels like the whole piece is not only within the lyrics, but it's like outside of that. I'm really struggling to explain what I mean here. But it's like you listen to it and go, not only is he saying that he's depressed and feeling down about it all and feeling trapped, but the actual sound of the whole thing feels as if he's physically outside of the song, making it, feeling depressed and down and trapped. If you can see what I'm saying there, that it almost transcends the song. The song itself transcends outside of the... I need to get my tinfoil hat on. But if you know what I mean, please tell me you know what I mean in the comments. Please just, Despair Came Knocking. What you said was either complete nonsense or actually makes sense, because this is the way I feel about it, is that the song actually transcends outside of itself, and it sounds like someone, the person recording it, Daniel is recording it, feeling the way that he's saying it in the song, which, when you say it like that, maybe doesn't sound that bad, because you can imagine John Lennon writing I'm so tired when he's missing his mum and Yoko Ono, and he's writing about them. I'm so tired, I haven't slept a wink, you're such a stupid git. No. Now that feels really like that he's in that moment. But this is more literally that he's in the moment, and when he's recording this, he feels the way he does, and he's saying exactly how he feels in that moment, and it sounds like it. He can't even put energy into the instrumental because of how down he feels, and I think that's great. And I would put it in slaps, but the actual song itself you can't really listen to and really get into like with these two. You can get into these two, and I'm not saying feel something more than Despair, but I think with Despair it's just not got that thing with it that makes you like, I don't know, maybe I just think too much into the song. But it's a banger. It's not filler, certainly not filler, but I don't think it slaps as hard as Big Business Monkey and Walking the Cow. Man, I need to take a break. This is the things. Whenever I do these tier lists, I listen to the album for days, usually beforehand. I know with the first 4 videos, they were real quick fire, but I was listening to those albums because they're very digestible. The Beatles ones and the Simon and Garfunkel and Beach were very digestible albums that you can listen to over and over again. And with this one, I've been listening to it for 3 or 4 days straight now, and it is driving me insane now. I listened to it again today twice to write my notes, because I've been listening to it for the last few days, sort of passively and actively. Today I thought I listened to it actively now, so I listened to it once, wrote some notes, listened to it again, wrote some more, and I'm starting to really feel the grind on listening to this album, because it can really get to you, gets in your head, gets in your like veins. It's weird. This is what I mean, yeah. Maybe I've overthought Despair Came Knocking, but I don't think I have. I think you can understand where I'm coming from. That the song sounds, it's describing itself. He's describing himself in that moment, and the way that he sounds and the way the song sounds is about what he's trying to do or say. That's enough of that. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on before I talk myself into the ground. I am a baby in my universe, I live forever. There's not much really to say about this one. It's interesting, and I am going to put it in banger because I like the way it sounds. Both of these, and I like that these 2 songs are on guitar. As far as it sounds like, they are both on guitar directly after the song that says, I picture myself on guitar, which, again, am I looking too much into it? Am I putting a genius? Am I putting genius status on someone who's not a genius? I mean, is that what I'm doing? Or did he really mean to do that? Did he say, I'm going to now say, I picture myself on guitar and do the next 2 or 3, 4 songs on guitar and then revert back? It's interesting, isn't it? Weird. I'm a Baby in My Universe, really. We're getting to the part on this album where he just kind of does loads of quick ones in a row that maybe do or don't mean anything, but I'm a Baby in My Universe I always thought was interesting. It's an interesting sound. Doom 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 doom. I am a baby in my universe. I live forever. Boom 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 boom. I am a baby in my universe. I live forever. That's my impression of him. Ooh, I'm only 22. I live forever. It's cool, isn't it? It's a bit creepy. It's a bit weird, but I think it's interesting. And I looked at the chords before because I thought that's a weird chord progression. All it is that he goes down the 4 chords. They're all in major, so it's like G sharp, G, F sharp, F. But he starts at F sharp, so he goes down to the back up and down those 2. So I can see why it sounds weird now that I know the chord progression. I'll quickly get it up now. I've got the guitar next to me, so I think it's like, I am a baby in my universe, I live forever. You might throw some minors in there now that I listen to it, but it's an interesting chord progression. It's pretty simple. I mean, he's kind of new to the guitar by the sounds of it. He pictured himself on it earlier, and now he's playing it. But I'm a Baby in My Universe. Pretty weird, pretty cool. I like it. We've got a filler coming up, I think. Nervous Love. Nervous Love is trash. I just don't get it. Which one is it? Oh, it's SpongeBob. I think it's better than I Picture Myself. No, it's not. Because at least the Picture Myself on guitar has some kind of melody, doesn't it? I see your face, I picture myself on a guitar. Whereas this one's just, I'm sure it's just him clanking on the guitar, so it's not even like a chord, he's just like, no, I can't even play the guitar badly if I try, like, it's just, so he's maybe got something like that. No, I'm trying to make a chord that's not real. Yeah, it's like that. So, well, this is a real chord, but it's not like a usual chord that you do. I got a nervous love. I got a nervous love. And that's what that song is. In so many chords, in so many words. And it's just not good. And I think this is the line I was trying to draw. When I was listening to this album, I was thinking, where do I draw the line here? Because there's Outsider, which could be considered as something like Nervous Love being an outsider song. But then you put Nervous Love against something like I'm a Baby in My Universe. I'm a Baby in My Universe at least has a chord progression that can be followed. Possibly a theme. It's just I think it's just him talking about being in his own world and trying to like express to the listener that in his own world he is different to how we perceive him, or something like that. I don't know. But Nervous Love isn't even like got a chord progression, hasn't got a chord progression, and it's just him repeating I've got a nervous love 3 or 4 times, then it's over. It's only 20 seconds long as far as I remember. And it was trying to draw that line between what can be considered a song, what can be considered not a song, what can be considered a piece of outsider art, and what can be considered actually nothing at all, something quite inconsequential. And I think I picture myself with the guitar and Nervous Love are inconsequential. Although he does do that, I picture myself with a guitar just before these 2 guitar songs. But again, I'm putting sort of genius. It's not even a genius move, really. I keep saying genius status, but like I don't think that's a particularly amazing thing to have done on the album. But I don't think I'm being too harsh here with that. I've got a nervous love. You know, I've got a nervous love. Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough, and I think that's the bottom one on the album. I love the picture of SpongeBob, very nervous. But I think that's fair. I think at one point you have to draw that line and say, no, Nervous Love isn't a piece of outsider music that should be revered. It's just 20 seconds of nonsense, really. And I've written something here that's yeah. Well, I mentioned this before. I've written it here. I suppose I wanted to mention it a little bit later originally, but he has shown in the earlier albums that he can write fully realised songs, although they might sound a bit broken and not finished. To him, they are fully realised. And as a listener, you can go, no, that is a finished song. For Daniel Johnston, it's a finished song. Nervous Love isn't a fully realised piece. And I don't even know, it might even just be there for him to call back to. Because he calls back to this in a song later. He calls back to Pest Control in a song later. He calls back to all sorts on the album, which is good that he's bringing the album together as a whole piece by calling back and moving forward and stuff like that. But Nervous Love as a piece on its own isn't good enough. And I think it's bottom trash there. I'll Never Marry is filler. It's filler because at least it's got a story, hasn't it? And I did like I'll Never Marry. What's this? It's Johnny Cash and Linda Ronstadt. Whenever I go to start one of these videos, my nose gets bunged up and I feel like a cold's coming on. Maybe it's the coffee. I don't know. I'll Never Marry, Daniel Johnston. I don't know what I thought I'd get by just putting that in there on its own. I'll Never Marry, Daniel Johnston lyrics, okay. At least this, it's a spoken word again, which I didn't like anyway, so that's probably why it's going to go next to Poor You. But at least it's kind of funny. It's like macabre. It's like funny and dark at the same time. I think that's what macabre means. I'll never marry, I'll never wed. Nobody wants to kiss you when you're dead. Nobody wants to lie in bed with you when your flesh is rotting. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? And it does that, right? Okay, it's dead weird, okay? That is super weird. And awkward to listen to, very unusual. But it's interesting, and it's kind of funny. I think he's trying to make light of, first of all, suicide, that he wants to kill himself when you're dead. I'll never marry, I'll never wed, nobody wants to kiss you when you're dead. He's saying, I'll never marry because I'm going to die. But then he just he kind of follows it up with a little bit of a weird, macabre joke. Nobody wants to lie in bed with you. No one wants to lie in a coffin with you when your flesh is rotting. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? And he does this weird little audio thing at the end, which is just the hi, how are you, which he's really hung up on this album. He loves the hi, how are you line, phrase, whatever you want to call it. He uses it quite a bit on this. But yeah, I think I'll Never Marry is okay. It's so hard to distinguish the line between outsider, art, and nonsense, because you surely, just the regular old listener would think, man, all of these belong in the trash. I'm a Baby in My Universe. All of these songs would belong in the trash to someone who likes to listen to anything else. And this is your first time listening to his album, you'll think, man, a lot of this is trash. But really, if you try to think about it as because it's outsider art, I can't even get my words out. Because it's considered outsider art, it's because it's considered this lo-fi, very niche music, that you kind of have to rate it and consider it in a different light, in a different manner. And that's what I'm trying to do here, and that line is so hard to draw. I just realised that these two pictures are very, very similar. I could have been more creative with that. That's hilarious. Yeah, but I like I'll Never Marry. I don't think it's trash, but it is filler. But it is, it's very, very Daniel Johnston, isn't it? The next one. I don't know what's after that one. I've not even written it. I've just gone, yeah, it's fun. The clapping. Oh, right, I know what it is. It's Get Yourself Together. I like Get Yourself Together. So I could recite it. It's like, get yourself together and or you'll fall apart. Together lyrics. So the Get Yourself Together by the Black Keys. I bet that's probably... I like the Black Keys. I'll go wherever you go. Don't care, I'm here. I want you to know. Don't run, we'll make time. We'll take it real slow. I'll go anywhere you want to go. I'm your gasoline. Get Yourself Together lyrics. Johnston. Get yourself together or fall apart. Make your mind up or let yourself down. And this is exactly as it is on the record. This isn't me doing my own silly version. This is actually how his sounds. Get yourself together or fall apart. Make up your mind or let yourself down. But and it's kind of fun, isn't it? It's kind of fun. And these are all these weird songs in a row that kind of aren't really songs, but they're pieces of stuff. Maybe unfinished things, but we're getting to the point now where you're seeing the album as a whole and you're thinking, okay, it's not just songs anymore. It's these weird little bits of audio, music, sound collage, spoken word, anything. He's just literally throwing anything at it now and saying, well, this is just the way I am and this is the way I feel. And that's what I like about Daniel Johnston, is his honesty and his, he doesn't... I think... So let's put this in a different way. So I think of Bob Dylan, for instance. I think that he'll write his song and he'll record it. Then he'll rewrite it, record it again, rewrite it, record it again. He's very much a perfectionist. Same with maybe someone like Paul McCartney. And the way you do it, really, is that you get your idea out and then you keep refining it. Whereas Daniel Johnston here, I don't think he's refining anything. He's just taking... And I'm not saying he's a bad musician for this or a bad artist in any way for this, but he's literally just throwing out what he thinks and what he feels and just going with it and just the first take and just have it down. So he's literally just sat there, and you can't say that you've never sat... I mean, if you're a musician yourself, that you've never sat and clapped your knees or done a little flick and come up with a little melody. and then gone. But then the next part kicks in and you go, well, that sounded cool, I'm going to put an instrument to it. Or that sounded cool, I'm going to try and record a bit of that and maybe see where I can go with it. Whereas Daniel Johnston's done his thing, come up with his idea and gone, that's the song, get it recorded, move on to the next one. It's just like crazy. But I like that one. I like Get Yourself Together. It's fun, it's kooky, and I don't know, it just means it's just him like telling himself, get yourself together. Or you're gonna fall apart, you're gonna lose your mind, you know, and it's kind of fits what's going on. But I like it. Running Water. I was gonna play a bit of Running Water. Yeah, I may as well. I don't know. It might not stay in it. I can't remember. There's a chord progression to it. So, Running Water again is a spoken word, and it has like the sound of running water in the background. But I remember when I was doing my album, so when I was doing mine, I had loads. I had about 40 songs on a list that I wanted to try and figure out. I wasn't ever going to do all 40, but I attempted probably at least 25 of them. And I think there's only 13 songs on my album. And this was one of the ones that never saw the light of day. I kind of got halfway through recording and thought, doesn't really fit. But I kind of wish it had. I wish it had stuck because I kind of like it. But I'll give it a go. I will mess this up, probably. Running water, where are you running from? You always seem to be on the run. Running water, where is it that you're running from? Running water, you always seem to be on the run, and you never change, no matter what you do. You don't know where you're going to. Running water, where is it that you're running from? Running water, always seem to be on the run. Yeah, it's pleasant, isn't it? That was my version that I wanted to do originally, but I never got around to it. Mine would have had maybe a bit more instrumentation or something in it. I think I wanted to do it on piano, possibly, because he doesn't use piano in his version. It's just a spoken word. But yeah, you know, I kind of like that version. I might put that up as a separate thing. I don't know. But I like Running Water. I think Running Water is okay. Again, I forget what his versions are like when I do my own versions. It's like running water, where are you running from? You always seem to be on the run. And I like it. I think, I don't know. It's like if you watch it. It's what comes to mind here is when I watched the documentary. Is that there's a part in the documentary, The Devil and Daniel Johnston, where he took acid or something and was stood in a river in the centre of town, splashing the water around, singing this, running water. And I don't know whether that was the inspiration for it or whether that's after the fact. But I think it's a nice idea. I think sometimes you can come up with a nice line of lyrics or a nice theme with the lyrics, and I think Running Water is good. Running water, where are you running from? You always seem to be on the run. You never change, no matter what you do, you'll always wind up the same. You know, it's almost like a song about nature, in a way. And I like that turn of phrase of, you know, running water, where are you running from? I think that's clever. And I think it's a clever little piece of lyricism, really. And Daniel Johnston's lyrics can be absolutely sensational sometimes. I mean, maybe this isn't the album for it. Big Business Monkey's really good. Poor You has some good lyrics. I don't know if you call them lyrics or poetry, but Walking the Cow's got okay lyrics, I think. It's more about the melodies and how he plays his instrument and that I think captures people. But yeah, you get to kind of this area. The Spare Came Knocking's got good lyrics too, and you're kind of thinking, oh dear. But yeah, Running Water. Running Water, I think, has got nice lyrics to it. I think it's a clever little turn of phrase. You always seem to be on the run. Where are you running from? You know, it's a nice little song, that one, Running Water. What are we on now? Desperate Man Blues. Is that the Johnny Dankworth one? I think so. I'm a desperate man. There's no life left in me. I'm hollow, baby, in me. There's no... yeah, that's Slaps, isn't it? We'll get the lyrics up for that one. But as far as I'm aware, this is Desperate Man Blues. This is an instrumental that lyrics that Daniel Johnston liked by a man called Johnny Dankworth. And he just kind of wrote his own lyrics to it and went for it. And I think it's really good. I'm in no doubt that Daniel Johnston would have been able to write the chord progression for it as well. The instrumentation that he's using, the instrumental, sorry, sounds quite complicated, but I'm pretty sure it's just a blues with loads of your brass instruments doing their crazy kind of jazzy influences over it. But generally, I played this myself a few days ago, and I was just doing a standard blues, E to A, B major A, E, and it worked over it. So I mean, no doubt that Daniel Johnston could have wrote his own blues songs. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Could have wrote his own blues song and come up with the lyrics for this. So, man, this sneeze won't go away. Let me try and get it out. No, not happening. Okay. There ain't no colors in the sky anymore, and I don't feel much like singing. Can't see what for, but do doo 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 doo. There ain't no. What's the? Maybe something will happen to make it all better, better. I like when it breaks it down. He's like, there's no spunk left in me. I fall hollow in me. So empty, empty. It's cool, isn't it? But I think it's great. I think the lyrics are really nice as well. Well, they're not nice. I mean, they are sad. But you know, he's taken to this song really well. That he's listened to it and gone, well, this is very much a blues inflection, and I need to write accordingly and sing accordingly. And I think he takes it all in his stride really well. It just shows that he's very in tune as a musician, and his musicianship is really there. Is really well sort of thought. He's just good, isn't he? It's just a good song, and I like it. Probably like it more for the instrumental that's brought to it. But I bet if he did it on his own on the piano, it would have been just as good. So yeah, and I like it. I like the idea that it's kind of like you've got all these different things going on, and he's thrown in, someone else's instrumental now, and you're thinking, man, there's so much going on in this album. It really is like this big sonic thing, loads of different types of audio and different types of art being thrown into it. You've got spoken words, you've got covers of other people's music, you've got his own instrumentals. There's just loads of weird stuff going on. We've got like the Joe trilogy coming up soon. I think that the next one is the Joe trilogy. Yeah, I like that one. I think that does deserve to be up there. Really good lyrics. Hey Joe. Hey Joe is that one, and I think that is that's up there, and that's one of the ones I wanted to play. For realsies, so we'll give this a go. So we'll get this on transpose as we did with the Randy Newman one in the last video. And I'll probably turn the mic down for this one because I'll play this a little louder. Turn the mic down. Turn down the mic. Okay. We'll give this one a go because I like this song. I think it's kind of cute. Okay. Hey Jude, come on Joe, don't make that sad song sadder than it already is. Hey Jack, get back, get yourself together. thinking of your nervous love. And I know exactly what you're thinking of. Hey, said, no matter what you did, it can work out. No matter how you feel right now, there's a heaven and there's a star for you. There's a heaven and there's a star for you. There's a heaven and there's a star for you. Yeah, and it's kind of nice, isn't it? I did want to, when I saw that on the I'll turn the mic back up again. But when I saw that on the track list, and I was like, man, I was gonna put that on my album, but I never got round to it, and I really wish I had, because this one's a really nice song. It's really cute, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, this is one of the sort of more emotional songs on the album that Daniel Johnston. This is part of the Joe trilogy, we're going to start calling it. But this is kind of the one where, out of the Joe trilogy, where he's trying to, well, I don't know if he's even trying to, yeah, he is trying to make Joe feel better about everything. So I think the point of the Joe trilogy is that, bloody Joe trilogy, is that Joe is Daniel Johnston, and he's being bullied, and he feels out of place, he feels alienated, and he's trying to explain in this song in particular to himself, or to this Joe character, that and George and Sid and whatever else he wants to call himself, Jude, Jack, that you know there's a heaven and there's a star for you. You know, no matter how bad you feel right now, things are gonna get better, and you just need to, you know, try and pull yourself out of it. And it is a lovely sort of emotive little song, and Daniel Johnston's version is nice as well. I don't mean that to say it's nearly as nice as my version. I mean, like, the lyrics are really good, and the piano that Daniel Johnston does to it. If there was ever a song on this album that needed a piano, if he had done this as a spoken word, I would have been very, very upset. But he does this as a song with piano, and you've got the lovely, it's almost angelic piano when it gets to the end, and he's going like doom 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 boom 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 doom 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 doom, and he keeps taking up the octave, and his right hand on the piano is going up the octave to the end, and you've got this really high, nice bit that does sound almost angelic, you know, like it fits well with the last line. Is the best way to say it. There's a heaven, there's a star for you, and it's almost this heavenly piano at the end. I think it's a lovely song. I think it's great. Hey Joe, and I did embellish the melody a little bit there, but I kind of have to when I'm doing covers of Daniel Johnston. So if I don't embellish his melody a little bit, I'm just gonna sound crazy. But it works. It works in his voice. I'm not saying he sounds crazy. But I love Hey Joe, and it's a lovely song. Lovely, like, nice, pleasant song. And then you've got Pest Control in the middle of the Joe trilogy, which I never got. But it's not, I don't think it's trash. I don't know. Again, it's a story, isn't it? So, it is a story. She called Pest Control. And after that, she was never bothered again, I think. And it goes into this weird bit. She called Pest Control. Full lyrics. She wore Western-style boots, foreshadowing things to come. I'm an artist in search of a medium. She said, I know. And I said, well, I gotta go. Looking back over my shoulder to see if she was sorry I was leaving, because I thought I was lying. But I was going. I was gone. She called pest control. When she was sprayed, she never was bothered again. That's how to start. We should have gone. But that's it. That's the whole thing. And I've just recited it to you as it sounds on the album. And it's a nice one. It's a good one. I think it's better. I think if it's a spoken word, it's better than Poor You. I actually prefer Pest Control over Poor You. Because maybe Poor You drags a little bit for me, but Pest Control is kind of just funny, isn't it? I don't know. So hard. It's so hard to decipher where some of these things should go. Pest Control's okay. It's not trash because it's like kind of like a poem, but it isn't because it's not spoken. Because it's kind of got a melody. She called pest control, and when she was sprayed, she never was bothered again. So you have melody to it. She wore Western style boots. I don't know. I like it. I don't think I can give much more reason for it to be in there. I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm not saying it's bad. It's a filler. She called pest control. You know, and the idea is that he's the pest. You know, she called pest control. She got sprayed so that Daniel would leave her alone. Maybe this is one of the songs about Laurie. I don't know, because he does call her a muse, doesn't he? His muse, a search of a medium. Is that another word for a muse? Kind of. I don't know. It's all right, isn't it? Pest control. We'll move on. Keep Punching Joe. Keep Punching Joe's great. Maybe not as good as Desperate Man Blues. Listen, folks, I gotta tell you now. And I like the start. Keep Punching Joe. I'm so sorry that I have to. I'm gonna find out for real if I can actually use music in my videos, because it would be so much easier. Okay, I love this song first of all because the start is really out there and strange. So you've got this like. The instrumental, I don't know whether it's a Johnny Dankworth again or whether it's something else, but he's taken someone's instrumental and he's done this song. He's done another one where he's just written lyrics to someone else's instrumental. And you've got this, ladies and gentlemen, he headed out west. And you've got this sort of like introductory music. And Daniel, again, he's read it. He's read the scenario really well and gone, I'm going to pretend that it's like this big show and I'm the main guy, you know, and introducing me. He headed out west looking for the best and he's here tonight. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. He says he's got a lot to get off his chest. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. None other than Daniel D. Johnston. So he's playing that character and he comes on. Thank you very much. And starts clicking. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. A one, a two, a one, a two. Listen, folks, I gotta tell you now. And he goes into it. I've been singing the blues and walking a cow callback, which is great. I tell you, my soul's like running water. Hot and cold, one or the other. And then again, it's this honesty here. I guess I lean towards the excessive. Ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-doo. That's the way it is. Or when you're a manic depressive. An angel appeared to me. That's a callback to the first song. Told me if you want love, you gotta give. Oh, let me tell you now, it's been a long, hard summer. And yeah, it's just like the song about the song, isn't it? It's a song about the rest of the songs. And it's the second part of our Joe trilogy, where Dial P for Pest Control. Good lord. And it's just great, yeah. So he's calling back to some of the songs earlier on the album, but this is also the one where, you know, Joe's decided now off the back of Hey Joe, and I don't know whether Hey Joe going into Keep Punching Joe would have been better than Hey Joe Pest Control Keep Punching Joe, but maybe he wanted to take it down a moment and then bring it back up, but. It's really fun, and it's really Daniel Johnston. It's really good. Dial P for Pest Control. And again, he's read the music really well, and he's gone, I know what's going to fit this. But yeah, it's really like, what's the word I'm looking for? Really eccentric song. Keep punching Joe. Kick him when he's down. Kick him when he's low. I got some things to get off my chest. And when he gets to the end, now that's better off my chest than out of my mind. Keep punching, Joe. Woo! And he starts screaming, woo! It's really cool. It's really fun. I really like this one. Actually, where have I put it on this list? I don't know. That one's really good. I think that feels right because that one's a really good one. The Desperate Man has got some great lyrics, but this is sort of they're both on par with each other. Desperate Man and Keep Punching Joe. But yeah, this is the second part of the Joe trilogy, and Joe's decided now that he's going to try and stand up for himself, and he's going to fight his way out of whatever obstacles he needs to get. So he's going to have a go at the bullies, and it's good. I think it's a really nice one. What confuses me is how this album's structured. I don't know. Maybe it was the right thing to put sort of these 6 songs, 7. So he starts really strongly with a spoken word, and then 2 actual songs, and then you've got these that are all. The Spare Came Knocking, maybe not so much. That is maybe considered a song, but these are all kind of just ditties. And then you go into some songs again, 1 ditty, and then it's just a weird structure. But maybe that was the best way to do it, because I suppose if you were knocking around Nervous Love just after Desperate Man into Hey Joe, maybe it would be maybe more harsh on the ears. But he's kind of put all his weird ones. They're all weird, but he's kind of put all the shorter ones that don't really mean much together. Maybe as 1 or 2 full pieces. I don't know. It's an interesting album, man. It's very interesting. But Keep Punching Joe's really fun, really honest, and it's got good callbacks to other songs. It's just really cool. I really like that one. And then we're on to the last one. Keep Punching Joe. No, we're not. That wasn't it. No, Keep Punching Joe we've just done, and now we're on to the last one. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. Okay, this one doesn't have an instrumental again, does it? I'm going to put it above that, but I'm going to put it below this. I just love The Spare Came Knocking. There's something about it. I'm not going to speak about it again, because I must sound like an absolute lunatic speaking about that one. But No More Pushing Joe is good. It's the the end of our Joe trilogy. I'm reaching the part where Joe has decided now to stand up for himself. He's been pent up here. He's been told he needs to stick up for himself, and this is the one where he does stick up for himself. So this is No More Pushing Joe Around. No more pushing Joe around. No more pushing Joe around. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. He's up and punching now. He knows how to be angry now. Now listen here, mother-in-law, I'm sorry, or sister-in-law, I'm sorry that I had to use your car, but you were mean to me, an awful lot, crazy about me, in your heart. It's really fun. I don't know how much honesty there is to it, or are they making up the ideas as you go along? You were mean to me, an awful lot, you crazy about me. Again, the start's really fun. Tell you what, cigarette butt, when I get back, we're gonna have a boxing match. There'll be no more pushing Joe around. So this one is kind of a mix. So he's singing it, but there's no instrumental, and it's like the double or triple layered vocals, which you can imagine with Daniel Johnston. He struggles to just sing along to his own instrumental sometimes. So trying to sing along to his own vocal without anything like a metronome to follow, it does come across kind of sketchy, the whole song. But it's good. And then he does this weird solo, smacking his lips together, which is funny, weird. I like it, and it's kind of the end of the Joe trilogy where he's going, no, I'm sticking up for myself now. No more bullying, and he's talking to his family as well about this. This isn't like people on the street or people at school. He's speaking to his own family who he thinks are bullying him, or at least this character is anyway. But this bird has flown by, no more tears. But then it really gets at the end. It gets really smart because he finishes the song. And there'll be no more pushing Joe around. And it cuts. I take it all back. 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 And it's like this admission that he's had to go at everyone now. I'm standing up to the bullies. But then he's realised, oh no, I'm actually going to be in big trouble if I do this. So that is almost childlike. I take it all back. I take it all back. take it all back, I take it all back. And it's funny. I like that end. It shows he's got, surely there's a humour about it. He's not actually doing that seriously. Because surely, I don't think that he seriously thinks his parents are going to listen to it and he's going to get in trouble. I think it's a joke onto itself, a joke about the song and a joke about his relationship with his family or whoever. That, he takes it all back and he's not big and brave and he's not going to stand up to them all. And it's a macabre joke, isn't it? That he's going to get stuck in this cycle and there's nothing he can do about it. He can talk the talk, but he's not going to be able to walk the walk, so to say. And it's interesting. I like that one. Are we at final synopsis territory? No, because there's one last bit about this song that I wanted to mention. Yeah, what's interesting, I was going to split this into its own thing, but it's technically part of this song. So at the end of No More Pushing Joe Around, when I was listening to it the other day as one of my first run-throughs, I was looking at my phone at the Spotify as it was like near the end, ready to turn it off. So I looked at it and I realised it's only halfway through the song when it finished, halfway through the actual thing. And what happens after this song, after I take it all back, is that it has like a medley of all the different instrumentals, one after another, at the end. And I just think that's super interesting. And I don't know, maybe it's not that cool, maybe it's pretty simple. But I think that's I've never heard anyone do that on an album before. Take all the parts of the instrumentals from various songs and then just clip them together back to back. And I listened to it and I thought, this is really nice actually, because you get to the end of the album and your head's scrambled as it is, but then you get this kind of reminder from Johnston going, all right, I'm just going to give you a quick run through of what you have heard on this album. And it's just interesting. I think it's a really cool idea. It's one of those, it's quite normal, I think, now, well, in music generally, to whack something on the end of your album. No, it doesn't happen all the time, but people whack stuff on the end of their album. Maybe a piece of instrumental that they liked and didn't use. So, yeah, whack on the end of the album for 15 seconds. Maybe a piece of music or some lyrics that actually have great meaning to the musician or a good theme, but couldn't be fit anywhere, particularly in the album, without breaking its stride. So you whack it on the end of the album 30 seconds after it's finished, and there it is. So it's not a particularly unusual thing to do, but to do it like this, I thought was quite interesting. I'd never heard someone do it before, and it is. I thought it was great, because then you listen back to these sort of 5-second snippets of each song, and I don't think I'll turn this back up, and I'm leaning really far back now, but you listen back to it and you go, oh shit, yeah, that was quite different to that. Oh, that's very different. Oh, I remember that being quite dramatic, actually. And, you're going through it. It's kind of like if you listen to a film score after the film and it reminds you of what happened in the film. Kind of the same thing as that, maybe. You're listening back to these snippets of songs and then you can fully take, you think about the song again in your head. I thought it was interesting. I think very interesting. Let's do final synopsis. Good grief. Okay, I hope you like the songs that we did on this one. I was going to do quite a few, actually. I was going to do around 4, but I thought, it's overkill. I did one in the Randy Newman, and I'm getting carried away. So I think 2 is nice. Running Water doesn't even really count. It's just a little ditty. I think it's just like a little song for children, the way that I recorded it, the way I performed it. But Hey Joe, I consider, so I'll listen back to it anyway. It might not make it off this video. But yeah, Walking the Cows to Top. It's the main song on the album. The main song that people know when they get introduced to Daniel Johnston. I'm going to have a bit of my coffee. It's probably cold now. But very recognisable. And it's a great theme. Great idea. Big Business Monkey, again, great idea. I love the creativity around that line. Big Business Monkey. It's just such a good hook. Yeah, it's fun. Standing up. There's a lot of bullying going on in this album. A lot of themes about alienation and bullying, and it's just another one of those songs, but it's done really well. And I like the instruments and the melodies and the way that it all comes together. Hey Joe is a really emotional song, trying to pull himself. Although it's a character called Joe, I think the character is very much rooted in being Daniel Johnston. So he's trying to pull himself out of this dark place. And it's, you know, part of the Joe trilogy, and the Joe trilogy's great. Desperate Man is well cool. To take an instrumental and go, I know how this needs, what kind of lyrics this needs and what kind of feel this needs from me. Pulls it off really well. That is a great song. Keep Punching Joe is fun. Keep punching, dial P for pest control. I just, again, I was going to say, I wish that both of these songs had his own piano playing on them, but it kind of fits the album, because the theme of the album, apart from lyrically, you know, with the bullying and stuff, that there is no real thematic idea instrumentally. So it kind of makes sense that in an album with no real direction instrumentally, that you would just throw two random jazz instrumentals in there. So it works, doesn't it? It does work. Despair Came Knocking. I'm not gonna go into it again because I'll lose my mind. In of itself, it transcends itself as a song, is what I'll say about it. Maybe that's a bit too deep, maybe that's a bit too far, but that's the way I've always felt about this song, that when I listen to it, I'm not listening to a song, a piece about feeling depressed. I'm feeling to, you know, I'm listening to actually like a piece of audio that is depression. It's like signifies depression and being trapped, and I think it's great. I won't go on about it again. I won't go back to between 20 minutes to 40 minutes and listen to me speak about it. No more pushing Joe around. Yeah, no more pushing Joe around. It's fun. It's great. We just covered it, and it's got that really cool thing at the end, which is the sort of medley of all the music. Which, for me, that took it a lot higher up, because I just thought it's such an interesting thing. But it can't go any higher than Despair Came Knocking for me. I want to put Despair Came Knocking in slaps because I regard it so highly. No, I'll leave it there. Baby, I'm a baby in my universe. I live forever. Ooh, I'm only 22. It's good. It's interesting. It's got an interesting instrumental and some good melody as well. It's not long. It's only a minute long, I think. Get yourself together or you'll fall apart. Get yourself together or you'll let yourself down. Interesting. I think the River one goes above it. I think that's fair. The River one. Running Water's really nice, pleasant, spoken word. But at least this one's got a bit to it, you know. It's got a bit more to it in terms of... But saying that, if that spoken word is going there, then I think Poor You should go there as well. I don't know. I'm being really bad to Poor You. Poor You, this song. I put it well too low, but I think it has to stay there. But I don't know. I like Running Water. I like the turn of phrase, and I like the idea that just that taking that idea, running water, where are you running from? It's just an interesting thing, and he does follow it through pretty well. And then it's kind of like a sound collage with running water in the background. It's interesting. She called pest control. And when she was sprayed, she was never bothered again. That's interesting. Poor You, interesting. It is good, Poor You, isn't it? It is a good song. It's not a song. It's a good spoken word. Okay, I'm going to put Poor You here. I'm going to put it below Running Water. But I'm going to put it in back. I'm going to put it above Get Yourself Together. It's a good spoken word, isn't it? It's a good... There is a story to it, and it is kind of like dark and unusual. So yeah, I'll put it up there. Okay, She Called Pest Control. I'll Never Marry. They're filler. They're interesting, but they're not bangers. And then I did like I'll Never Marry, to be fair. And She Called Pest Control is cool. But yeah, I don't know, they deserve to be in filler. It's like I've got something against spoken word, but now I've got two in there. I've got two in banging at spoken word, so you can't have a go at me for that. I picture myself with a guitar. I don't know, it's not really anything. And a nervous love is a bit inconsequential, isn't it? Really. And there is a callback to it, you know. I literally just played it in Hey Joe. I know you're thinking of your nervous love. So obviously, whether Hey Joe came first, and he goes, actually, previous to that song, I want to put something there about his nervous love, and I want there to be a section about nervous love. But I think he could have done better. I think if that was the idea, he could have done better. And it's the same with this, that this is a prequel to the next 3 songs. After I Picture Myself on a guitar, he does 4 songs maybe in a row on a guitar. It's a fun idea. And this whole album is very, like, not together, but also very together at the same time. That's why it's so interesting. But, yeah, I just think you could have come up with a better way to do that. I think that's fair. I think this is a fair tier list now. I think I had to put Poor You higher in the end. Now that we're thinking about it. But yeah, okay. That's the Daniel Johnston tier list. It's pretty messed up. I am not listening to this album again for a few years now. I've had enough. I've had enough of it. It's, I think, yeah, listen to it maybe once or twice. And listening to it like 12 times over 3 days just is it's a bit too much. Juice isn't quite worth a squeeze at that point. But, been interesting. We're going to do a more normal tier list next. Might go back to Beatles. I've been speaking to one of my mates. He thinks we should do. He thinks Bob Dylan one might be interesting. Tom Waits one would be interesting. I need to do a bit more background on Tom Waits though. I do like Tom Waits. I just don't know a lot of his stuff. But I pick an album. We could do like, what's the Mule one? The Mule one's weird. Something Mule something. I can't remember. Maybe Tom Waits or Bob Dylan maybe next time. Or I could just do a Beatles again. It's an easy one to fall back on because I do know a lot about my Beatles. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you like the Daniel Johnston one, I will more than likely do another one. This was the obstacle one to get through, but I think his other albums are a little bit more digestible than this one. This one can be quite hard to get through sometimes, but that's the point of it. It makes you feel a certain way, and that's why you've got so many bangers and slaps on this, because it is a very interesting piece of work, very interesting piece of outsider art. So. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Leave me a comment and we'll talk about this album. Tell me if anything belongs anywhere else. And for the love of God, like and subscribe. Give me a reason to keep doing these. I am enjoying them, but it'd be nice to build a little bit of an audience. Let's move on. All right, thanks for coming. We'll see you. Tell you what, that was a missed opportunity. I should have opened the video with "Hi, how are you?" Shouldn't I? Oh damn! How annoying! Hi, how are you? No, maybe that's a bit lame. I don't know. All right, see you later. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good sleep tonight or whatever. Bye.